Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Bulletmarv review. This has been a while in the making. I've been playing on the game, getting footage for about a week now, on and off for like 30-minute intervals or whatever. Just trying to get as much footage as I can so I can do this game as much justice as it deserves. So, this game released in 1999 here in like Europe and everything. This is the third game in the series, brought on the PS1. I remember getting this game and being a fan of it, being a fan of the two prequels before it. I had to get this there and then. So I contacted my friend who specialised in covered games, and I got it and I played it, and then I ended up buying it. Even though I'd already bought a covered version, I went out and bought it. So gives me so much joy to finally get around to doing a review on one of the games from one of my favourite franchises of all time. If you've watched my videos, you know what my favourite franchise is of all time, and that is Resident Evil 3. I am so much of a fan of this game that, as you can see from up there, I actually have the soundtrack as well. So, I am a very big fan, and now I've messed up my webcam. So, what to say about Resident Evil 3? Using the same engine as Resident Evil 2, much more defined version of it, refined, added a lot of new mechanics, but let's start with the game. Let's start with the story. So, it is September 1999, and what has happened is in Raccoon City, the outbreak has gotten pretty much out of control. You take control of Jill Valentine, a member of the Special Stars unit, who was sent to investigate these strange occurrences going on in Raccoon City, and sent to the mansion, which was the first game. So you play as Jill Valentine from the first game, striking a very different look this time with a short skirt and a tank top. I say tank top, it's more like a tube top, to be honest. And, you know, start a very different look. And she just needs to find a way out of the city now. She's stuck in Raccoon City and she needs to escape. So, with that in mind, without giving too much away, she's going around the city trying to find a way out. She runs into the mercenaries, Nikolai and Carlos and the others, and their plan for their escape to get evacuated by a helicopter at the Raccoon City watchtower. But there is something stopping them in the way that all the Resident Evil games are. They are twists, they are turns. And one of the key features is, by the name of the game, happens to be the main enemy without the game, who is hunting Stars members down. He is a big behemoth known as the Nemesis. And he has been sent in to eliminate all Stars members because they know what actually is going on, as well as a few more underlining plot lines there. And I don't want to give too much away for the people who haven't played this, but if you haven't played this, what rock have you been living under? So, this was released on the PlayStation 1, the PC, Dreamcast, GameCube. The Dreamcast and the GameCube versions are reworkings of them with better frame rate, better graphics, and the Dreamcast version utilises VMU for health and status things as well, so you can see if you're poisoned, you can see how much ammo you've got, all on your VMU, which is a great feature, as well as you've got the hidden game, the mercenaries, unlocked from the start, as well as you can choose what costumes you have. But this is the PlayStation version. So what's in the PlayStation? What is the gameplay like? Gameplay is very, very similar to the Resident Evil 2 in that respect, apart from you take control mainly of one character, apart from later on in the game where you take control of Carlos, so you mainly take control of Jill, and it's the same sort of thing. You go around collecting items and solving puzzles, as in the respect, but the newer mechanics, the quick 180 turn, which is some of that has been needed in the Resident Evil games at that point. I always found it very clunky to having to turn a full 180 rather than a quick button movement, which is like down and B, down on your run button, boom, turn around. As well as another mechanic, which is the I would say manufacturing thing combining aspect of it. Like, you could always combine items in Resident Evil, but this did it to a whole new level with gunpowder. So you could combine different gunpowders to yield certain results. So like you get gunpowder A, B and C. So A is handgun ammo, B is shotgun ammo, and C is grenade ammo. And then you combine like A and B and they get you certain ones and stuff like that. And obviously if you have C, C and C, you can get the best ammo for the game, which is the revolver ammo. So when starting on this game, starts off, big explosion happens, Jill Valentine rolls out, and you're there with your AR machine gun. Not the best gun in the game, you can end up putting that in your box, but if you are playing this on the easy or normal difficulties, you do end up with starting off in your box with handgun, magnum, grenade launch, not grenade launcher I don't think, and shotgun. So you've got that to look forward to. And the other mechanic is the dodge mechanic, which can be a lifesaver. I don't know exactly how you pull it off. Pulled it off a few times, and it is a lifesaver. Zombies coming at you, you can just dodge out of the way with ease and then start shooting them, as you would do in a Resident Evil game. So there's still zombies, there's still mutants, and there's the big behemoth known as Nemesis. And that brings me into the last mechanic of the game, which is your life. Well, they called it in the PlayStation magazine life or death scenarios. They don't really play out like that. It will come up saying either, you know, first one that you come by, and I'll be showing it in the video here. You know, run away or fight the monster. And you either fight the monster or you run away. It's a PlayStation, simple as that. But fighting the monster obviously can yield certain results. So if you keep fighting the Nemesis every time you see him and knocking him down, especially in the harder difficulties, you get weapon parts, which I think after fighting him like 3 or 4 times, you will then get the Desert Eagle handgun. So it's really handy if you fight him, because then you will get the handgun, but it does make that game difficult because you will be running out of ammo a lot quicker. So you have to be very careful about what sort of combinations you use with your reloading tool and all that. So, gameplay wise, they are the new mechanics. Gameplay is very much similar, pretty much tank controls, a bit more smoothed out this time and a bit more compatible with analog, even though I don't think the analog works that great on it. So I personally always use the D-pad with this game. So I've overlaid storyline for you, I've overlaid the mechanics. So you have your puzzle mechanics as well, so it's like picking up files, which is a good update actually to Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 1, that you can actually see which files you're missing in that respect. So you have a screen and you can see which files are missing, which can come in handy. So especially if you're a completionist like me, you want to be getting all of them, because you know you get an extra bonus at the end for it, sort of thing. A bit more of a, oh, you collected everything. With that, as well as that, you have few new enemies in it. I mean, I said Nemesis is one of them. Then you have these other mutants, like kind of insectoid things, which are very easy to take out if you have a shotgun, to be honest, but do cause poison effects on that. Dogs that seem to be a lot more apparent in this game than in the others. There seem to be a lot more dogs in this game than in Resident Evil 2, so it was nice to see them back. As well as the hunters later on in the game. I'm only showing the beginning of the game, your first hour and a half in the game here, because I don't want to give too much away, to be honest. And you know, you get your standard weapons, your handgun, which you can get an upgrade for, so you can make it into, like, you know, a burst shot, which uses more ammo but is slightly more powerful and better aim. You get your shotgun, grenade launcher, your rocket launchers, your magnum, pretty much all of them, and also your different grenade launcher rounds, flame, acid, gas, and as well as normal grenade rounds. So why do I like Resident Evil 3 so much? Because to the crowd it wasn't as good as 2, because you're one character, it's on one disc, the other one was 2 discs, that were like, oh my god, 2 discs, this is 1 disc. Why do I like this game more than 2 in that respect? I like it because it brings more back to it. It plants itself nicely within the story as well, because it takes place in between 1 and during the beginning of 2. Like, it's before 2, and it kind of carries over in some respects. So you see a lot of the same areas. So it uses that quite well actually. Its timeline in the way of reusing assets. The graphics have been a bit more upgraded obviously than Resi 2, but not by much. Voice acting is still, it's a joke. It's a complete joke. And the other thing that I liked about it is the way that it gets your heart beating. Your heart's pounding constantly due to when you see the behemoth, the Nemesis, when you hear that crash and you know he's coming and he's running after you, he's got his rocket launcher, he's ready to kill you, sort of thing. He is the epitome of, like, it's one of them moments where you're like, oh crap, you run or you fight. But when he's running after it, you do feel that you end up running further than you actually need to, because you're like, oh my god, oh my god. And it's just awesome. It's just amazingly awesome. I'm such a fan of this game. I cannot recommend it enough to everyone. This game, if you're a fan of Resident Evil, or if you're starting out in Resident Evil, get this. Buy this game. Buy this game or buy the version on the Dreamcast. Just play this game, please. I beg of you to play this game. And if I could give it a score, I would give it about a 9 out of 10. I would only give it a 9 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10, if I was going to give these numbered scores, only because it can be short and you can complete it within about 6 hours with ease as well. It's a bit simpler as well. It's a bit less puzzle and more action orientated. And it was one of the last games of its type on the PS1. Because after that, the last other Resident Evil game was the gun game known as Survivor, which was panned across the board. But this is one of the last survival horror Resident Evil games in that style, where you fix camera angles and everything. And that's nothing that I have to mention. The atmosphere is just fantastic. You're running around the city, but you feel alone as well. You get that feeling of loneliness. You get that feeling of isolation. Even though you're in a big city and there are people there, you don't feel safe. You never feel safe. You don't know what's coming around the corner. And it's just what brings it great. And they're still keeping the old loading screens as well. Apart from one loading screen has kind of gone, and that's the stair mechanic, so you can climb upstairs now freely with some of them, which is a nice touch, but I would have preferred to keep that suspense. So yeah, that is my review of Resident Evil 3. Just a fantastic game by Capcom. Created by Capcom, published by Eidos over here. Buy it. Just buy it. Download it. I do not care. Play this game. And I've been Bulletmarv. This has been another Bulletmarv review. Hope you've enjoyed. If you want to leave a comment in the section below, feel free to leave it in the section below. Like, share, plus 1 on Google+, subscribe. But yeah, as I say of every video, just keep on gaming. Just keep on gaming and buy this game. Buy this game, keep on gaming.